Today I'll share 6 body language secrets of powerful people. It turns out that the most powerful people in a group aren't always the smartest or the most knowledgeable. Why is that? I believe part of it is due to subtle body language. This body language can draw other people to you. So what are these 6 secrets? Well, let's start with eye contact. You know that feeling when a person makes eye contact with you, especially when you're talking and you feel important to that person. That person gains confidence in you, you gain confidence in them, and that trust builds over time. People who meet your gaze seem sincere and trustworthy, while people who don't seem dishonest or lacking in confidence. And too much eye contact can be uncomfortable. It seems like an intrusion or an act of aggression. Powerful leaders instinctively know how long to look at you and how long to look away, and they do it naturally. Studies suggest that the proper amount of eye contact in the US, certainly, and many other countries, should be between 50 to 60% of the conversation, and that's done mostly while you're listening. So it all starts with eye contact. Next, and this is the one I think is important, is smiling. Many studies have shown that there are benefits to smiling, and common sense tells us that when we smile, we feel better inside, and other people smile back. But why is that? Turns out it has to do with the chemicals that are released in our brain when we smile or when we see other people smile. Smiling triggers the, quote, feel-good hormones like serotonin, dopamine, and endorphins. And these powerful chemicals relax our body, they reduce our heart rate and our blood pressure, and they help us to fight off stress. And that makes you feel healthier and appear more confident. And what's more, your smile triggers other people's brains to respond in the same way. In other words, a smile is contagious. And powerful leaders smile enough to convey confidence and goodwill while creating these bonds of respect. Next, it's important to have a firm handshake. In fact, the perfect handshake is brief, firm but not tight, and uses the whole hand, not just the fingertips. It conveys that a person is confident, extroverted, and positive. And this can't be emphasized enough. A handshake creates an immediate impression, and you only get a chance to create that first impression once. Powerful leaders shake hands in ways that say, I am strong and confident. And in my experience, most people that have a poor handshake have no idea. So I recommend you ask a trusted friend or a colleague for some honest feedback. The next thing to consider is your posture. Strong leaders will convey their self-confidence and their strength subtly but clearly through their posture. Think about it in your own minds. Imagine somebody that's hunched over, or imagine somebody with their back nice and straight and tall. Which one gives you a sense of confidence? When we have an outstretched, open posture, that projects this image of power and confidence. And if you'd like to look in charge, just stand with your legs slightly apart, your hands on your hip. Think like Wonder Woman. Or you can just make really wide gestures. The more space you take up, the more in charge and confident you'll look. It not only makes others think that, but it makes you think that too. So by practicing these powerful poses before presentations or meetings, you can boost your own confidence and subconsciously tell the audience you're in control, confident about the future, and able to set goals and act. Of course, we all know that animals can hear undertones outside of the human range, but the fact is that we unconsciously hear them too, and we make decisions based upon them. You know how a high nasal or thin voice can be really irritating? Think someone like Fran Drescher. Or a broad, resonant voice. Think Don LaFontaine. It's smoothing and attractive, right? That's because of the undertones. And incredibly, studies have shown that hearing those low undertones actually makes people more efficient. And when we remove the undertones, those low undertones, it makes people less efficient. Leaders have the best undertones, and people around them subconsciously match their tones to those of the leader. You ever heard the saying, we're on the same wavelength? Whoever made that up was right. That's exactly what happens. Next, you always need to think about appropriate gestures. Random and nervous gestures are just distracting. But speech-associated gestures, those are ones that complement the words, enhance the meaning of what you say. I'm not talking about thumbs up or sign language. These symbols convey meaning without words. The best gestures used by great speakers and leaders naturally support the words and make them easier to remember and understand. Leaders use gestures to get their point across effectively.